Hello and welcome to the Sweaty Startup. Today we have a great topic. I've been excited to talk about this. Why high cost of living cities, expensive cities, why they are so great for service-based entrepreneurship. And when I talk about expensive cities with high cost of living, I'm talking about New York City, I'm talking about DC, I'm talking about Boston, all of New England actually, San Francisco, LA, San Diego, all of California, Boulder, Seattle, Austin, Texas, the Florida coastal towns, London, Toronto, Montreal, Australia, New Zealand, you name it. Anywhere where it's expensive to rent an apartment, anywhere where the hourly labor is in low supply, these are great places to start businesses. We're going to talk about why. It's a supply and demand equation. When the supply is low and the demand is high, the prices go up. And that is exactly what's happening in these cities. Let's talk about demand first. People who earn more money are way more likely to utilize a luxury service like what we're providing. I grew up in a Midwest town, low cost of living, and I don't ever remember hiring anybody to do anything. We mowed our own grass, we cleaned our own windows, we fixed our own stuff. But my friends that I met in college that were from the suburbs of Massachusetts, they had a pool guy. They had a lawn care guy. They had a plumber that came and visited. It's just a different way of life in these expensive cities. And it makes perfect sense. People who are strapped for cash will do their own stuff. People who have extra cash and value their time are going to pay other people to do it. People and companies are earning way more money doing what they do best in these big cities. They're doing what they do very well and they're outsourcing everything else. People are getting really good at one thing. They're earning a bunch of money doing that, and they're paying other people to do all the other stuff. They're not bothering with their lawn. They're not bothering with their cleaning. They're not bothering with their basic maintenance, their laundry even sometimes. So 20 years ago, 5% of homeowners outsourced their lawn care. I talk about this all the time. Today, 40% do. That number is higher, way higher in expensive cities, and it'll only grow over the next 10 years. There is so much more demand for these services. So let's talk about supply. Why is there less supply in these cities? Well, mainly it's because labor is expensive. Not many people are willing to work in hourly positions. If you work in an hourly position for $10 or $15 an hour in New York City, you can't afford to live there. In San Francisco, you can't afford to live there. So this makes it very hard for most service-based companies to find quality employees. They have a lot of trouble staffing. And when you can't staff and when you can't find good employees, you can't keep up with demand. You cannot maintain a consistent workforce and deliver a consistent service to your consumers, to your customers. They end up offering a very slow service because they're always 2 or 3 employees shorthanded. Most owners run around saying, I can't hire anyone worth a darn, or I have to pay my employees way too much to make any money. And, this is a little bit of a generalization, but in these cities, people are more educated. People are more likely to focus on working high-skilled jobs. People are more likely to work for a major company, and people are way less likely to grow up with the desire to work with their hands and get out and sweat and to have the confidence to actually try to do one of these service-based businesses. So, more supply, less supply, more demand. That's a great equation. But what I just said sounds like a reason to avoid major cities, right? It's really hard to hire employees. It's hard to find anybody that can work for you. And this labor problem, the inability to be able to hire consistent work is, I experienced this firsthand. We operate in Champaign, Illinois, at the University of Illinois, where it's a very low cost of living city. We have employees lining up down the street to work for us for $12 an hour. Whereas in Boston, Massachusetts, and in Washington, D.C., we struggle to hire anybody who is a warm body that can pass a background check and is going to show up to work. We're going to pay them $18 an hour, and we have to, maybe more. So in these more expensive cities, labor is more expensive, but listen, this is why it's an advantage, because good operators and people who know how to run a business can thrive. When the supply is low and the demand is high, the prices go way up. Okay, you can charge way more for your service. We all took Economics 101. It's more expensive to run a business in a high cost of living city. That's a challenge, right? That's why people want to avoid it. But you have higher overhead, you have higher labor costs, you might need to pay your employees $30 an hour in New York City, whereas in Atlanta, you'll have people lining up to work for $15 an hour. That's fine. Let's run the numbers here. Labor only makes up half your expenses on a daily basis when you're running a company like this. So paying double the hourly wage only increases the price you need to charge to make money by 25%. But the thing is, you can charge 2 or 3 times more for your service in these cities than you can in some other areas of the country. So what I'm suggesting you do, if you live in Boston, New York City, you can start a very low-skilled business. You can start a carpet cleaning business. You can start a pressure washing business. You can start a lawn care business. Anything that has low barriers to entry is very simple to do. You can start those businesses and you can instantly charge 2 to 3 times more than what the going market rate is. And if you can deliver your service tomorrow or even the day after tomorrow, and your competitors can't deliver it until 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now, and you actually focus on your digital marketing, you can win. You can crush it. You can charge 2 or 3 times more, and you can make way more money overall than if you were competing on price and only charging, what your competitors are charging to operate in these lower cost of living cities. So there's a couple things you can do here. Number one is you can stop looking for better people and you can start simplifying your operations so that normal, moderately trained employees can thrive. And what do I mean by doing that? We had a whole episode on this, never compete on price again. It's simplify the job so that good, normal people can come in with a few hours of training and deliver a consistent service. And how do you do that? You take things off of their plate. You make a employee get really good at 1 or 2 things and take everything else off their plate. Don't ever ask an employee to be good at 20 things because then your training is going to be brutally hard. If that employee turns over and leaves your company, hiring somebody to replace them is going to be extremely hard. So take all the customer service off their plate. Anytime a customer asks them a question, just train them to be very nice and say, I don't know the answer, please call our customer service reps. They'll help you so much. Here's the number. Anytime somebody wants one of your customers to bid a job, don't let them give a price. Have them say, we can do this job, teach them some basic soft skills, have them have some professionalism, but pass that task on to somebody in your office. Don't let them handle any money. Don't let them take any payment on the spot. Take that off because billing is very complicated and that can slow them down and really hurt you if they're doing it wrong because you're not getting your money, right? So take the little things off their plate. Another thing is you can have them specialize. If you're offering a service that, we'll use lawn care as another example here, one person should get really good at running the trimmer. And that's all they do. They don't run the trimmer and then switch over to the mower and then also drive the truck and also do the edging and also spray the pest control. Okay, one person sprays the herbicides, gets very good at that. Another person runs the 0 turn radius mower. They get very good at that. That's their only job. Another person, runs the weed eater, the trimmer, and does really good at that. So that's what I mean by simplifying the job. Have your employees get really good at one thing so that you can find normal people and they can do the job really well. Another thing is compete on speed instead of price. Charge double the amount for the service that you're going to offer, but be able to show up tomorrow, no matter what. And this is very hard to do, and it's high risk, okay? Because you risk having employees sitting idle. So you need to staff ahead of your needs. Don't wait until you're 1 or 2 weeks behind schedule and booked up to make your next hire. Make your hire as soon as you can't deliver your service tomorrow, and you'll be able to provide a great service. People will love it. Another thing is eager professionalism. If you're in these big cities, the customer service that these service-based businesses have is horrific. If you can be eager and professional and excited to help customers and you answer the phone every time and you're smiling and you are going to talk to them about what they need and listen to them and you're just an eager professional, you will absolutely crush it. Okay, so offer a consistent service, compete on speed, simplify the jobs of your employees, and offer eager professionalism. You're on your way. Another thing is digital marketing and accessibility and online presence. Test this out yourself. I just got on Google and typed in pressure washing Boston. And in another tab, I typed in pressure washing Athens, Georgia. Now, Metro Boston has 10 times as many people as Athens, Georgia. But there's twice as many companies that offer it. They have more Google reviews in Athens. They have better looking websites. They do everything better online in Athens, Georgia. There's 4 of them competing for AdWords for pressure washing in Athens, Georgia. There's 1 company that pays for AdWords in Boston. It's insane. Do the research yourself. Find what is really lacking in your city and get out there and mix it up. So, basically there's opportunities everywhere. There's opportunities in the low cost of living cities. There's opportunities in the high cost of living cities. But the disparity between supply and demand in these big cities is insane. So you can come in with a very simple model. You can copy a company that you really like in Atlanta, Georgia. You can do it exactly like how they do it. You can have a website that looks almost identical to what their website looks like. And you can transfer this model to Boston, Massachusetts, or New York City, or San Francisco, or Austin, Texas, and you'll crush it. You can absolutely crush it. Don't be afraid to pay your employees more. Don't be afraid of that higher overhead, and just raise your prices. Just raise your prices. It's going to be great. You're going to kill it. So thanks for listening. A little bit shorter episode today, but I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, reach out, Nick@sweatystartup.com, and have a good day.